if you think about it, there are many different layers to this topic because times have changed a lot. Parenting has changed a lot. Modern parents are different to, say, maybe my day. But some of my happiest memories were at my granny's house. And I always wanted to be that popular nana. But I used to have a cupboard. Don't have it anymore, by the way. I used to have a cupboard. And the kids would come in and say, what have you got in the cupboard? It was stuffed. Biscuits, cake, everything. And I just thought, well, that's what I had to do. But, of course, as parenting has changed and discipline comes in, I mean, they drink water now and not sticky juice, which is great. But I just think that when you start to be a grandparent, if I could put it like that, I had to zip my mouth because there is that temptation to say, maybe I wouldn't do it like that, you know, but it's every young parent's right to.
But do you always think that you do have to zip your mouth, or are there some days that maybe, well, as granny, you do?
Well, no, I mean, obviously, if they're doing something dangerous or wrong, I wouldn't zip my mouth, but it depends also whether you're seeing, as I do, my grandchildren socially. I'm not looking after them 3 or 4 or 5 days a week. I think if you're responsible for children daily, or even 3 days a week, I think then you have to have a different attitude to it. Whereas I'm taking the joy out of it, and I don't buy the chocolates and sweets anymore. But I'll tell you the landmark point. I said to one of my grandchildren, Bo, I said, Bo, let's go to the shop and we'll buy you some sweets. And when he got to the shop, what did he choose? I'll have pears and grapes.
Oh,
and I realised then that the parental control was, you know, a change in... And thank goodness.
I would think that's not my grandchild.
And why has he not got a duvet wrapped around him?
Exactly.
I mean, what a shock. But, I mean, I think it's a really good point you make there, Gloria, because you have the kind of... the joy of your grandchildren as a treat sort of thing. But there are lots and lots of grandparents now who are essential part of the kind of caring network, aren't they?
My mum helps me with the children, and she is an essential part of the caring network for us. So she will see them at least 3 times a week. But the best thing about my mum is, one, she's blooming incredible. I couldn't live without her. But 2, we are really honest with each other. So I sat down and I did actually have to have a conversation with her about what the rules are, what I want them to be eating, how I want them to be behaving, but I didn't want her to implement them. So it was my job to tell them what the rules are and what the boundaries were, and she just passes the buck to me, because it's really difficult to be a grandma if you have to go, don't eat that, do eat this, don't eat that. You do take the fun out of it, like what you're saying. So now, if they ask for something and my mum doesn't want to say no, she rings me and I say no, so that I can be the person that's taking that.
Your mum's really good and you're really good.
But she doesn't deserve to have... She helps me so much.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I'd just go, OK, don't tell your mum. She actually phones you and confesses.
I think, Colin, you and I have the same thing in our kitchens. What happens at Nana's stays at Nana's.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I can see, you know, obviously with the period of time they spend with you need consistency, you know, and I absolutely see that. But, I mean, I was in a different situation. You know, my mum absolutely adored my kids and her other 2 grandchildren, of course. But she liked being the kind of naughty granny, if you like. And, I mean, I was always the bad guy. I mean, I would often turn around and I would see my mum and my 2 daughters going... you know, like that, and me, you know, because I was being grumpy drawers. And I actually quite liked that.
Well, don't you think, though, when you're a parent, you spend all those years being strict, setting the rules, doing this, doing that. So then when your grandkids come along, you think, you know what, I don't want to be that grumpy old person anymore, and that, you know, I want to break the rules with the kids. And I want them to go, can't wait to stay at Nana's, you know, all of those things. I do think it's sad as well that a lot, like you said, a lot of grandparents, it's not sad, but a lot of them have become full-time carers to help out their families while they're at work.
In a way.
And sometimes, a lot of times unpaid, because, you know, that's why they need the grandparents. So I think in that case, a parent has to go, you know what, although my rules are this, I can't expect them to stick... You know, they have a life as well.
It's a bit of freedom.
So they have to fit in with their grandparents' routine.
I definitely do get that. But it is counterproductive if, you know, somebody's helping you with your children and they're going completely against everything you set up. But I agree with you.
But
I'll still come home and mum will have given them a pot noodle for dinner, and I'll be like...
You know that programme... you know that programme on Channel... I think it's on Channel 4, where you have the little children at nursery and the older.
Great.
Now, I think that's a great example of how important the relationship is between the generations. And that's what I try to nurture. I hope that I'm a good sounding board if anything's bothering them. But also I try to create memories like Charlie and Gabriel. Shortly after Count, I think the next year, I took them to New York. So I think that's making a memory for them because they'll always say, do you remember the time you took us to New York and we saw all those yellow taxis?
Yeah.
You know, so I try to do that. So I kind of have had to learn over the years to try and stick with the parents' rules, but be nice, Nana.
Yeah, nice, Nana. I'm just trying to look through some of the comments there. We've got lots in. Laura says it can cause issues when you say no. They say yes. My mum's favourite is saying, leave them alone, you did worse.